Hi everyone, welcome back to Cabin Crafts and Simple Living, and today I'm going to talk to you about chalkware. I know I did a video on this earlier, maybe a year or two ago, but this is examples of chalkware. So here's one of my Santas. Here's another Santa. He's got mica flakes on his snowball. This is another Santa. He's holding a little tree. And then my Easter ones, these are my favorites. I've got a little sheep. And then I've got, this is my favorite one. I've only got one left of the bunnies. Let me try and, I want you to see his eggs. Beautiful colored eggs all the way around. My bunny on a bed of eggs, basket of eggs. This is just a regular rabbit. And then I've got a running rabbit running through wildflowers. And this little guy has got some eggs. And then this big one. He's got a basket on his back. And if you see sparklies on these, I have used German glass glitter accents. But I'm going to move these out of the way and I'm going to show you how I make them briefly. So you will need good old plaster of Paris. Very cheap. It's not the materials that are expensive, it's the time that it takes to make them. I've got a bucket to mix it in. I'm not going to mix here on the show, but I wanted to show you. So I have a collection of chocolate molds, and this is what they look like. You can see my turkey's got plaster of Paris spilled all over him. They're hollow, and they got these clamps. So a lot of these chocolate molds are antique German chocolate molds. You pour the plaster of Paris in here, and of course you want to tap it, make sure you get no air bubbles, and then you let it dry for about an hour or two, depending on the size of the mold, how long you let it dry. But the history of these, and I'll show you some more molds. This is a clear plastic one for a great big Santa. I don't remember where I got him, but this is a modern mold. These would be made for chocolate. And if you've ever seen chocolate Santas wrapped in foil, this is what you're seeing. It depends on, same thing with the bunny rabbits. I mean, you've seen, chocolate bunny rabbits, little chocolate bunny rabbits. And so I've got a few antique molds. Now here is a bunny rabbit mold, and I do have one in here. I've already taken a sneak peek. I might need to pry that open. It's been a while since I've opened this to look at it. I do know I've got some air bubbles in here. There we go. So here's your raw plaster rabbit. Now chalkware figurines go back to the 18th century. Plaster of Paris was used to make death masks, so like you've seen death masks of people. And then in the 18th century, it was made to make little figurines like cats and things that people put on their mantle. And then they really became popular in the Great Depression era. My mom had a chalkware Cupid doll that had a little crepe paper tutu around its waist. They were cheap carnival prizes. That's why very few of them survive. This is very fragile. It's basically plaster. If I would just drop it from this distance, it would just, break all up. He's got a few holes, air bubbles in him. Not very many. So how I would repair that is with some joint compound. Fill them in and then sponge with a wet sponge. Then you'll notice he's got, the mold edges all around here. And so you'll have to take a tool and scrape that off if you've got any kind of a ceramic tool, or while they're still kind of semi-wet right out of the mold. Now these are many days old, but right out of the mold when they're still kind of damp, you can take sandpaper and sand all of that roughness off of the seam where it was. Then what I do, and here's another one that I had in a mold. This is a hen on a nest. And you can see she's got her seams. I still haven't cleaned these up. So since these are really dry, I'll probably have to use sandpaper on these. Just very fine sandpaper, and go in and maybe even wet it and sand all of those grooves off. But these haven't been painted yet. Then what I do is I take a coat of like gesso and paint the whole thing for a base. And then I paint them with just regular acrylic paints. So like this little guy, the little rabbit here, he was just painted with regular acrylic paints, and then I dry brushed on his fur. And the glittery part, you see all the pretty color of eggs. This is German glass glitter. That's what the accents are. I buy finely crushed German glass glitter. Those used to actually come from the ornament factories in Germany. You know, they made beautiful glass, blown glass ornaments. And I'm sure there was, you know, mistakes or air bubbles or whatever, but they didn't let anything go to waste. And they would crush that glass because it was beautiful and make it very fine. So this is very fine, ultra fine German glass glitter. And, you know, I've had a couple people make comments and say, oh, well, the original chalkware was not glittery or whatever, but German chalkware was. I mean, they would do accents on their chalkware like this, especially pre-World War II. This is an example of a bell snickle, and he's holding a little tree, and you can see his sparkles. These are not real fine. These are mica flakes. So mica was also on antique ornaments, blown glass ornaments from Germany, and Belschnickel actually means is derived from a certain dialect of German, and it was Pelzschnickel, and that meant necklace in fur, so like a fur pelt. So these were not Father Christmases or Santa Claus. He's a Belschnickel. So is this guy. He's a Belschnickel. He's almost gnome looking, which we know gnomes also come from German literature. And I do have real fine crushed glass glitter on him for his snowy accents on his coat and things, and on the tree. And then, of course, I have my little sheep, and he's got glass glitter accents on his flowers. You can see him sparkle. And then to antique it, after I painted it all, I will rub a water-based stain over them after they're all painted to make them look old. And then I spray them with a matte polyurethane spray. This is a traditional Santa Claus. This reminds me of our American Santa Claus. And he's holding a little tree, and I just drill a tiny hole in his arm. And you can buy these little bitty bottle brush trees at Hobby Lobby. And he's just painted all the way around. And so this is my traditional Santa Claus. My favorite Easter rabbit. I love that egg he's holding. And then he's all finely detailed with paint. So I hope you can see that. And then he's got little glittery eggs in his basket. Now I do have, like, this is a snowman, a double snowman mold. It says on here, Tomric Plastics. So I don't remember where I bought these from, to be honest with you. I've been doing chalkware for well over 20 years. And so I've got some modern molds, like the plastic, and then, you know, and this is a giant Belschnickel. He's really beautiful when he's painted. I usually put him in a blue coat and call him Père Noël, so he's French. But some of the other molds that I have, this is a gigantic regular Santa Claus. He's a lot of fun to do, because the bigger they are, the easier they are to paint, believe it or not. Let's see, what else do I have in here? This one's all rusty. This is a chicken, a rooster. Now, these molds that I just showed you that I unmolded, this one, and I'll just show you the front half of this one. I paid $55 and $65 for these at an antique mall. When I find them, I buy them. And I know that sounds like a lot of money, but they're hard to find. They're not very easy to find. I mean, you could probably find some on eBay, but where the cost is, and all of this chalkware that I have available is on my website to buy. And don't freak out about the price. I mean, well, you can if you want, but it's many, many hours of molding, cleaning, and then painting. So that's why it costs so much. The materials are not expensive other than whenever I buy the molds, but you know, usually after you make several characters, you'll get your money back from your mold, but it's very time consuming to make. And so that's why they're so high. In fact, I'm half the price of anybody else if you look it up. This is another mold of a Belschnickel. I used to make a lot of him. He was one of my best sellers. And let's see, what else do I have in here? Here's another one that's taller than that one. Same kind, but he's bigger. So this is, they didn't really start making, the lady that started doing chalkware in the chocolate molds, her name is Judy Valencourt. You can still buy her chalkware. Colonial Williamsburg sells it. Her chalkware runs $300 up. It is very beautiful. It is very detailed. She's the one that started making chalkware in chocolate molds. She pretty much invented that idea. These were always for chocolate, not plaster of Paris. But she had a collection of antique chocolate molds, started pouring plaster in them and hand painting them, and that was probably in the 70s or 80s. But like I said, they're still available. They're highly collectible. They cost a lot of money. So mine are minor. Here's another little bunny rabbit. This is a smaller one of the other versions that I have. So I have several sizes of the same thing. Here's my sheep. So there's the sheep mold for my sheep. I love the sheep. And here's another cute little bunny. I've never made him. I have had the mold for years and I've just never poured him, but I think I need to. His behind is especially cute. Look at his little tail. So anyway, as far as the material is concerned, it's just plaster of Paris. You use 2 parts plaster to 1 part water. And what I do is I pour water in the mold, pour it back out, and then I know how much plaster to use so I don't waste it. You don't have to do that because sometimes the molds leak and you can't get water and you can't get an accurate measure. So I just kind of eyeball it with the plaster of Paris. But it's only 2 ingredients, plaster of Paris and water. Then you gesso it, paint it, seal it. And that's what this is. So this is my chalkware. Like I said, all of this is available on my website. It is www.scoshop, and that's spelled SHOPPE.com. And I think I have 1 sheep left, 1 of these, and 1 of these. These are the only 2 left for Easter. And I only have 1 of him. He's all by himself. But anyway, I thought y'all might be interested this season in finding out about the history of chalkware. And I hope you enjoyed that lesson. Please like and subscribe if you like my videos. It will help me a lot. And so I thank you very much for watching. Bye.